Caleb Scherer, number 3 on our SCG Tour leaderboard. He is on your left. Brandon Dollaway with Just Guy Control is on your right. Players have been given the green light. We'll be underway here in ein Moment. Scalding Tarn and pass the turn back. Over to Caleb as he plays a Shivan Reef. Going to fall down to 19, and he'll play a Serum Visions. Caleb will draw. Looks like he picked up a copy of Manamorphose, Scry 2, Spirebluff Canal, and Old Peak. One of my favorite spells, Old Peak. Looks like those cards are going to stay on top for Caleb. He'll pass the turn back over to Dollaway. And that's a Spirebluff Canal. Pass the turn back over to Caleb, who I think is going to draw his own Spirebluff Canal. So here is that. Now here's another Serum Visions. He's drawn Peak. He'll scry 2. Pyretic Ritual, Gifts Ungiven. 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Split the difference on the scry, pass the turn back over to Dollaway. And now this is one of those times where the window's open. Be able to play Geist and probably not die.
Well, you say probably.
I use that word on purpose.
Yeah.
The upside's so high if he doesn't die with Geist after playing Geist.
For sure. Yeah. At that point, you know, you've just got to protect yourself for a few turns. And if your bolts don't end up having targets, they can shiv a turn out of the clock.
Mm-hmm. Here's a Lightning Helix on the end step. Going to start working away at Caleb's life total here. Caleb actually with 3 main deck copies of Strategic Planning. Maybe a little surprising to see that one in the deck. Dollaway. All right, well, here we go. Does he make it through the turn? Here's a peek. See what he's working with. Path, Queller, Bolt, Island, as Caleb will take 1 to get the information and draw a card.
That Spell Queller is clutch here. That's some really potent interaction to have.
Caleb will draw, pick the Pyretic Ritual. And now he'll untap. Draw for the turn. Picked up an Island. We're going to see what he can do. He'll play an Island.
I think he's got to make an effort to go for it this turn.
Well, with the way that he's kind of set up in his chair.
Oh, never mind. We're good.
Yeah, it's Baral. It's Pyretic Ritual. Yep, and now it's time to reach for the Storm counter.
We're good.
Yep.
We are good.
And the mana thingies. That's spell number 2. Manamorphose. Spell 3. Probably 2 blue, 2 red now. Yep. Picked up a Desperate Ritual. Yeah, he might just be dead. Here's Desperate Ritual.
Oh, he can gifts and yeah, this is.
Yeah, have you seen this deck recently?
Nah, I have a good sense of the moment. You know.
Yeah, these cost reducers are bonkers in this deck. And I think that, you know, it's such high upside if you get to untap with Geist, I think he probably wins.
Right. He's got a Bolt and a Spell Queller too.
Yeah, like he's doing really good.
Right.
You know? The package here is Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, and Past in Flames.
And Past in Flames has flashback, so there's not really a,
a
good route here to, you know, cut him off with
hey,
something.
Look at you.
I know. I still got some tricks.
Even though you only sleep like 4 hours a night now, you still know what's going on.
Yeah. Usually more. It's just interrupted. Just interrupted.
It's like 2-hour cycles.
Nah,
little nap here.
It's different, you know. It's different every time.
All right, what's gonna go? This is always fun.
Don't worry about it.
Because you think it matters. It doesn't matter.
Yes, don't worry about it.
Give him the mana. There's Pyretic Ritual. Spell 6, Desperate. Spell 7. Caleb's gonna look at that graveyard. He might go to Past in Flames right now. He will. Keep in mind, Past in Flames from the graveyard only costs 4. because of Brawl. Now we'll play a Pyretic. And we're going to go for gifts. No more, thank you. No more magic, thank you very much. Caleb Scherer going to win on turn number 3 here against Brandon Dollaway. Blue Red Gift Storm. Very quickly up a game over Jeskai Control. And it's funny, right? It's easy to say Brandon did everything right, which I think he did. He played Lightning Helix. He tapped off for Geist Saint Trap, and he said, all right, if you don't kill me, I have Spell Queller and a Bolt for a Mana Accelerator, and I feel like I'm doing good. Dead.
Dead.
Doesn't matter, you're dead. That's the power of this Storm deck now. That's the power of Gifts Ungiven. And even though so many cards have been banned from Storm, Rite of Flame, Seething Song, I can't even think of the other ones. There's probably more that I'm not thinking of. It's still a really, really good deck because of these cost reducers in Brawl and Goblin Electromancer, which put Gifts Ungiven back into the deck. So we take a look at the sideboards here. We'll start with Dollaway, who's got 3 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Stony Silence. Here come the one-ofs in Elspeth Sun's Champion. Disdainful Stroke Dispel, Anger of the God Supreme Verdict, Wear Tear, Celestial Purge, and Vendilion Click.
Little thin here on cards I'm excited about. Like the Click, like the Dispel, and the 2 copies of Relic of Progenitus. But these are small upgrades. Nothing substantial.
Yeah, so that's the thing about this deck is, you know, even if, and you're going to see this now when we get to Caleb's sideboard, it's natural to say, all right, you're a Passing Flames deck, I'm going to attack your graveyard. Well, Caleb can say, oh yeah, I got Empty the Warrens. I got 3 of those on my board, which I'm probably going to bring in against you. 3 pieces of the puzzle, 3 Lightning Bolt, 2 Shattering Spree, 2 Dismember, a Swan Song, and a Wipe Away. Sure, those cards exist, but I think Empty's great here.
Yeah, seems like a good matchup for Empty the Warrens. You're playing against some counter spells, so going off with a Storm card where if you do it for 5 or 6, it'll be good enough a good percentage of the time. You're also just playing against Geist Saint Trap, so having some more blocking on the ground is not the worst thing. I would like to bring in some empties here as a hedge.
Yeah, and again, that's what makes this Storm deck so tough is a lot of the time your opponent knows you have empty. At this point, this deck is established. Kazu Negri won our last Open in Richmond with this deck. So everyone knows that Empty the Warrens is coming, but you have to sideboard in such a weird way as other decks. You know, I've been playing Scapeshift online. I have to bring in Anger of the Gods.
Yep.
Just in case. And they're probably going to bring an Empty, and I have to bring in Anger of the Gods, and if they don't draw Empty and I draw Anger, I have mulligan.
It's really bad.
You know, it's just a really, really bad draw to have. So this is part of the appeal of this deck. And, you know, sometimes we've seen Caleb or Kazu play Blood Moon as well. And when people have to worry about that card, too, they have to worry about how they're going to fetch their lands and all this other stuff. Puts them in a really, really difficult spot, not to mention they can play Blood Moon as soon as turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of potent sideboard cards that Storm can have that they don't always have. And you have to respect them even if they're not there.
We're talking weekly sale now, which we lined it up beautifully with this Open. You get to save off modern favorites like Inquisition.
Yeah, you can head over to go.cerseigames.com/weekly sale and find out what the weekly sale is. We have a new one once a week that goes live Monday, 11 o'clock Eastern time, so make sure to be heading back to the website at least once a week to check out the deals. Right now, up to 25% off select modern favorites. Our favorites, not necessarily your favorites. That's why you need to go check.
Yeah, see what's over there.
Yeah.
That's important. Clarification again.
Right.
Very important.
Yeah, the favorites, you know, it implies something that's where I wanted to clarify.
Caleb Scherer, player who's been known for playing Storm for a long time, is a 29-year-old who's from St. Louis, Missouri. He's got 4 Open top 8, still looking for that first Open win, but 2 additional top 8s and that win back in Vegas a couple of years ago that qualified him for the Players' Championship. Big math guy, big traveler, loves himself some peanuts and loves himself some Storm more than any of those things. And, you know, it's funny, Caleb has done Storm in all formats. He's tried in Standard. He played it in Modern when it wasn't particularly good. Plays it in Legacy where it is good. But right now in Modern, for me, I think it's the best deck. I think the Death Shadow is obviously very good. I think Eldrazi-Tron's very good, but I think this is probably the best deck. What we just saw in the last game, that's scary stuff, man.
Yeah, cantrip, dead.
Dead. And this deck is going to get opt. Doesn't have to play Peak. You're speaking my language. Here's Serum Visions.
You know what is an interesting cut from this deck over on Scherer's side?
Hit me.
Scalding Tarn.
Yeah, you know, I noticed that. You know, he's got Spire Bluff Canal, he's got Steam Vents, he's got Shivan Reef, but no Scalding Tarns and fetches and stuff. And it's not like he doesn't have them.
Right.
We know he has them. He's just not playing them. It is an interesting cut, as you say. Speaking of Scalding Tarn, that'll be Brandon Dollaway's second turn. We'll go back over to Caleb, picked up a copy of Grape Shot. Here is Sleight of Hand. Will this resolve? They will. Brawl, Pyretic Ritual. He's going to take a Ritual, it looks like. One of the things I do find interesting, too, you saw how Caleb kind of looked up and was like, hey, does this resolve? I don't know. Are you supposed to counter those? I don't think so, but I never know.
I mean, maybe you're supposed to, you know, do you logic knot it there or use some other counter spell if you're typing out for Geist on turn 3? Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe if you have another counter to back it up and all you feel like you need to do is untap. Maybe. But I think most of the time you're just supposed to let it go.
It's kind of one of the things when we used to cover a lot of Legacy. I always wondered if you were supposed to, when you're playing against Storm, if you're playing against the Delver decks, if you're supposed to counter their Brainstorms and Ponders and stuff. You know, because those cards are so integral to what they're doing. But you'd rather just kind of save it for the threats, I guess.
I think it's very circumstantial. Generally, as a rule, I wouldn't be countering the Sleight of Hands and Serum Visions. But, you know, again, if you're tapping out on 3 and you feel like if I get to turn 4, I'm good, then if it takes a couple of percentage points out of the odds that you die on the 3rd turn, then that's an argument to be countering.
Fair enough. No Geist of St. Traft here this time for Dollaway. Caleb will play an island, simply pass the turn back. An island here for Dollaway. Pass it over to Caleb. Caleb is drawing empty the warrants.
Looks like his hand is still a little land heavy. And if Dollaway's not doing anything, then no rush.
Yeah. We can just do this for a little while. Here's a Bolt. Might be Snapcaster plus Bolt 2 now.
Yeah. Try to get a clock going here.
Oh,
Or just...
Looks like just Bolt for now.
Curious.
It is a little curious to see that, because Bolt does have some use in this matchup, taking care of Baral and Electromancer. There's a Reef. Colonnade will untap. We'll go back over to Dollaway. Looks like he's got another land in play since he slid those 5 over. Scalding Tarn. We're going to pass it back over to Caleb, who's going to fire off a Gifts Ungiven. See how this goes. Looks like Dollaway may have a response here.
And if you have a counter, even I think if it's your only counter, I still feel like you're supposed to use it here.
Just take care of Gift. I mean, Gift's so powerful.
Yeah.
This is a card that I'm actually really happy is good again. I've always felt that, obviously Modern has a lot of powerful cards, but I always felt that Gifts was such a powerful card, it was weird for it not to have a home. And I don't think this card is too powerful. I think it's a really good card.
In the context of the format, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of really good things you can do for 4 mana. And Gifts, you know, actually asks you to build a deck. You know, it's not just throw this in there and it's good.
Yeah, it's not like a Taxing Probe,
for example.
where it's just, all right, this card's
and also
busted.
0.
Yeah, yeah. 4 mana's a lot. Logic Knot took care of the Gifts Ungiven. See if Caleb maybe wants to make a move here. He does have Baral in hand. And there is Baral, so he will play the cost reducer.
And I like this line here because Scherer is building towards empty the Warrens.
Lightning Bolt's going to go after Baral in response to the Pyretic Ritual. Caleb is going to play Manamorphose in response to the Lightning Bolt. We're building a stack, which means we're building a Storm count.
You know, and at Dollaway's leftovers here, you know, if he's got 1 hard counter or 1 spell queller, he's going to be pretty disappointed when Empty the Warrens is the end of the line here.
And draw a card. Manamorphose is resolved now. Blue and a red floating. 4 spells. Baral, Pyretic Ritual, Lightning Bolt, Manamorphose in that order. Now Lightning Bolt is going to resolve. Now Pyretic Ritual will resolve. He's up to 5. He's going to play an Electromancer. That's spell 5.
And Scherer being very cautious here to make sure that he always ends all these sequences with enough mana to cast Empty the Warrens. Should something weird happen and Dollaway use a counter in a spot where, you know, Scherer isn't necessarily expecting it.
Yep. Now, Caleb would like, I think you want to play Empty before Grape Shot? Well, here comes Grape Shot.
Yeah, the concern here is that the Electromancer gets killed in response. You don't have enough mana left over.
Yeah. That would be my biggest fear here.
So he might feel like, first of all, I'm firing off everything I have anyway. And second, I might need every token to win from here. But this is risky. I mean, if this Electromancer gets hit with, say, Electrolyze.
Well, I don't think Caleb has played a land.
Okay.
Which is important.
Okay, if he's not played a land, then he's good.
I'm pretty sure he's not played a land. Yep, Grape Shot and all those copies are on the stack. There is, yeah, and this is what's interesting. What's neat about this is I think he just got another spell out of him doing this. So Electrolyze is going to resolve. Yep, and now, yeah, because he hasn't played a land yet. So play a land.
All right,
Empty it up.
Now we'll see if if Dollaway's got a sweeper, he almost certainly wins the game, and if he doesn't, he's dead.
Yeah,
very simple. I think he might have Verdict and Anger of the Gods in his hand right now. So.
Well, then he's doing good. So many Joblins. Pass a turn. Dollaway will draw. Sweeper or bust, my friend. Just that easy right now. I think our question just got answered. There's Anger of the Gods. There go all the goblins. And they're, well.
We're done.
Yeah. We thought we might be done one way. I think we're done the other way now.
I mean, maybe, is he even drawing to Past in Flames at this point?
Hey, he drew Empty. Maybe he can build towards something there.
You gotta just cast it for 2 blockers. Hope the Dollaway's on Empty.
That's not the worst plan. Here comes Colonnade. 4, 8, 9, 10.
I don't know what's the point of holding it exactly. Because you're just dead the next turn.
Yeah. Let's see what he drew. Pieces to the puzzle. Manamorphose, Peak, Island, Swan Song. Boy, it'd be crazy if he could rebuild from this. I'll tell you that much. You just want to take Manamorphoses. Looks like he's going to take a Peak too. Here comes Manamorphose. Draw. Found Brawl. Here's Peak. Geist and Verdict. Draw. Yep, we're all done this game. Brandon Dollaway with Anger of the Gods. Very important for him to have it against Empty the Warrens. Ties things up against Caleb Scherer. Just got control. Blue Red Gift Storm getting ready here for game number 3.
So I would cut the Empty the Warrens after seeing Anger of the Gods and Supreme Verdict in his deck.
Just be on Grape Shots?
Just be on Grape Shot, yep.
You've seen enough where you just don't think it's worth it?
I think that's too much. Too much to try to play through.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's take a look at Dollaway's deck list. He's got, how many Angers? He's got 1 Anger in the board, and then he has 1 Verdict in the board, and... I mean, Caleb's not working with this info. It's 1 of each.
Yep. I know.
It's only 2 cards.
It's the worst. It's the worst case scenario, right? You see exactly the 2. I mean, based on deck lists, I would leave it in, but based on what I saw, if I'm in Scherer seat, I'm
where
off
like
it.
you peek and you see the Verdict and you lost to the Anger.
Right, I'm just off
where
it.
you're just ready to pull it. That's interesting to me. I'm very curious to see what Caleb does here. Because it's interesting too, because with this build, with Geist and Spell Queller, now I don't know if he knows about Spell Queller, but he knows about Geist. You would assume.
Yeah, he got hit with a Spell Queller in game 1. His gifts, I think.
No, he played Geist and died game 1.
Okay, right.
Yeah, he played Geist and died. But when you see, so he hasn't seen Spell Queller, but he has seen Geist. one in hand from the peak and one on the battlefield that killed him, you have to assume that your opponent doesn't have very many of these mass removal effects, I would think. So even though you've seen Anger and you've seen Supreme Verdict, I understand what you're saying, a little bit of recency bias where you see those cards and you're like, all right, I got to get off of this. And, and like you said, if he had the deck list, I think he'd stay with it.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see what he does, and players are already going back and taking a look at opening hands. All right, little mulligan here from Dollaway. Looks like Caleb's going to keep his 7. So what do we want to talk about? I want to talk about nothing because Brandon already shuffled quick. I know you appreciate that.
Yeah.
No pile there.
Yeah, can we just play?
And 6. Is this a better 6? Nah, that face tells the story. I don't think it's a great 6, but he's going to keep it. All right, keep it on top of the scry. Let's do it. Serum Visions off of Spire Buff Canal. Draw cards. Another Serum Visions. Looks like maybe a Bolt?
Yeah, Bolt out of the board. Probably out of respect for Spell Queller.
Okay. Okay. That makes some sense.
Although, it's weird, right? Because there's a lot of times where if your key payoff card is hit by a Spell Queller or he tags a Ritual, it's not that powerful to kill a Spell Queller. But
I'm a little surprised. That's all. Here's another Serum Visions. Draw. Picked up Manamorphose, Scry 2, an island, and a mountain. Does need the lands. I wonder what no banless Storm would look like in this format.
So what are the big ones that are, you get Rite of Flame and Seething Song, and Ponder Preordain?
And Probe.
And Probe.
And probably some other card I'm forgetting.
Right, there's probably something else.
Something else is busted I'm forgetting. Probably okay. I don't know. Just guessing. Mountain the draw. All right, pass it. Weird looking hand right now for Caleb. Got a Grape Shot, got some Rituals. Don't know if he's got Empty. Don't know if he has a cost reducer yet.
Yeah, it looks like he has Baral.
Okay. A Relic of Progenitus now in hand for Dollaway.
Good one to have.
Yeah. Curious if he wants to deploy it or not.
And once you have the graveyard covered, it's really hard to get killed by Grape Shot because
Pretty tough.
That kill usually necessitates Passing Flames to get enough spells. And if you have a sweeper to cover Empty the Warrens, you know, that could be good enough. Just Anger the Gods plus Relic of Progenitus.
Here's Baral. Now Caleb has another copy in hand, but Dollaway doesn't know that. So Brandon's going to sacrifice a Flooded Strand. See what land he wants to search up. And there's the Steam Vents. Dollaway got to be a little careful with the life total. Spell Queller maybe? All right. Well, you talked about why Lightning Bolt's in.
Yep. And unlike, you know, Desperate Ritual or Poetic Ritual, whatever those kind of cards, the mana makers, it is really cool, really powerful to kill a Spell Queller, unlock your Brawl, and then go.
Yeah, it's got to be really good. Colonnade. I think he might be thinking Relic now. He is. So that's going to resolve. Now we're going to go back over to Caleb, who's drawn a peek. He's got a lot of cards in his hand. Not sure where he wants to start, though. Looks like he'll start with peek. Let's see what's going on over here.
Is there anything?
Well, sort of. Cryptic Command, Lightning Bolt, Electrolyze, and Geist's Aintraft. With Relic of Progenitus at the ready.
But no counter spells that are available this turn.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets you up for this pretty nice line here. Let's say you say pass, end of your turn, bolt your Spell Queller. You use your bolt there, then your Cryptic Command mana is not available. And Scherer has another Brawl in hand plus a handful of spells.
And he can just go, so he can
might
kind of...
He might be able to go through Cryptic Command next turn.
Might be able to walk him into it a little bit. Gonna get a little interesting now.
Really important for Dollaway to draw a land next turn. I don't know if he knows it or not, but he needs to have Lightning Bolt and Cryptic Command available for next turn. I think that's critical.
There goes Serum Visions. All right, Dollaway is going to untap and draw. Let's see if he does find that 5th land that you did mention. In for 2. Well, he sort of did.
And that's nice for sure because it's not untap land number 5, but it is information about what the draw step was.
So he's working with perfect info now. So let's see. Caleb is going to peek again. Yep, same hand. Draw. Picked up a sleight of hand. Not going to fire off the bolt.
That's interesting. I mean, you have a mana to spare here. And I mean, if I'm in Scherer's spot, I kind of want to try to go this turn if I can, because once he has 5 mana up and you have to beat 2 pieces of interaction, it's so much harder.
Here's a sleight of hand. Manamorphose, Spire Bluff Canal. Manamorphose will be the selection. And there's the Canal. Pass the turn back. I'm a little surprised not to see him go this turn. Yeah, because this also gives Dollaway the opportunity to do stuff like this.
Yep.
Just fire off Electrolyze with no fear of anything. Picked up a Lightning Bolt. Now he's going to Lightning Bolt the face. Now, life total's under a little bit of duress.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he goes from 10 to 8 on this hit. There's a Colonnade that can be unlocked with the 6th land.
I think he picked up another Lightning Bolt. All right, put you down to 8.
Now he's basically just got to get out of this turn and he's all right. What's also weird about, the stuff with the Lightning Bolt here, unless he's really trying to just burn him out and Grape Shot him, which seems like a tough line, Scherer needs mana. He is choked on mana. And so I have a mana left over at the end of your turn, not using it. I have 2 mana left over at the end of your turn, not using it. I just don't know how he gets everything out of his hand.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not sure either.
I mean, this is brutal right here. Having the mana left over last turn to do this.
Well, it's interesting because maybe he wants the spell on his turn.
That seems so much less likely to be relevant than having the mana. Especially when, some of how Scherer's going off here is through Manamorphose. He's drawing cards. He does not know what the composition of his hand's going to be.
So here's Cryptic Command. It's counter draw. Here's Baral. So now here's Desperate Ritual. Bolt there.
Although now he has another Baral and Manamorphose, so he can kind of get the ball rolling here.
Sort of.
Who knows if it'll be enough, but
Yeah.
he might be able to get Brawl onto the battlefield unchecked.
I got no idea if it's enough. All right, so 3 red. I think he's only got. I think he might have 2 grape shots. All right, so Manamorphose. Draw a card. Keep in mind he hasn't played a land yet. Serum Vision's not my favorite. Here's Baral down to 1 red.
If he's got another ritual and 2 grape shots, he should be good.
Well, he's got Manamorphose.
Yeah, this is effectively a ritual.
Yeah, he picked up a land. Yeah, so 2 grape shots, right? That does it. So spell 7 spell. Yeah, that does it. Wow. Look at that. Does Lightning Bolt on the turn matter there? I'm not entirely sure. But at the end of the day, here's what I do know. Caleb Scherer is going to win this match here over Brandon Dollaway, 2-1. Blue-Red Giftstorm able to work through a Cryptic Command, a Bolt, and a Spell Queller to win this match. And Caleb Scherer moves on to 7-1.
Yeah, I'm not